Me, Nathan, 29, night shift ops manager at Silvermere Springs, high-end spa resort, pretending serenity while everything underneath stays damp and ready to ruin someone's day. Guests show up for hot mineral pools, tea that tastes like plants, quiet paths, steam drifting under moonlight, and the idea money can fix their heads. Staff lives in the opposite universe. Wet floors, hidden pipes, busted pumps, robe carts everywhere, boilers throwing fits, liability nightmares waiting. Barefoot, my real job is stopping luxury calm from turning into chipped teeth, broken ankles, schedule meltdowns, and PR disasters. With a glossy finish crew includes spa girls, hydro guys, janitors, yoga instructors, kitchen runners, landscapers, front desk ladies, and 3 ancient maintenance dudes. HR is this older woman, Carol, mostly deals with paychecks, grudges nobody explains, and those hollow reminders not to cry in the supply closet before things went sideways. We had one unspoken rule: move fast, always, because water problems spread quicker than apologies ever can. Someone slips, a valve sputters, a pipe tightens, a kid wanders off. We act immediately. Nobody here gets paid to sound spiritual, while someone face plants on stone next to a glowing pool. Then one random Tuesday morning, I spot a yellow notice taped crooked above the men's locker room door in the staff hallway. Temporarily restricted, that's it. No signature, no date, no explanation. Just sitting there like it owns the place. Air feels different instantly by lunchtime. 3 more signs show up, rerouting male staff away from guest corridors, hydro paths, private basin stairs. One cuts off the fastest route to lower hydro. Another blocks robe. Return access. Third pushes us away from the basin entrance entirely. No announcement, no meeting, no fake corporate speech. Nothing. That's what makes it feel off. Because speeches you can argue with, but silent changes just creep under your skin. They don't yell at you. They just slow you down. Push you farther away. Make you less useful. Exactly where timing actually matters. Ask one of the housekeepers folding robes if she knows who's behind it. She shrugs, says her, same tone. People use for headaches or bad weather. First time I hear the name Selena Morrow. Already sounds like a problem. Title is Director of Guest Balance, which tells me immediately she has too much control and zero respect for how things actually run. Meet her about an hour later near the aromatherapy wall. She's talking quietly to attendants by bowls full of floating flowers, mid-30s. Maybe dark hair tied back, pale suit. Nothing flashy. No obvious villain. Energy. Almost worse that way. Loud people are easy to ignore. Quiet confidence just slides into systems like smoke. Everything about her says calm, controlled, reasonable, and fully capable of wrecking your job while calling it care. She looks at me, doesn't smile, just studies me like I'm a support beam. She's deciding whether to remove day 2. More signs pop up everywhere, little soft traps placed by someone who understands friction too well. Menus alternate route near basin stairs, limited male presence near robes, temporary harmony protocol outside hydro corridor. Nothing says banned, because banned creates pushback, redirected, just makes people hesitate. And hesitation is where good systems quietly die. Female staff starts repeating her phrases by afternoon, like it's their own thoughts. The space feels calmer without male traffic. Women breathe easier without male oversight. The energy settles differently. She's good at that, turning basic layout changes into moral arguments. So any practical objection sounds like you're defending something ugly. Meanwhile, lower hydro level is still the same hazard. It's always been wet stairs, steam clouds, benches, plunge entries. That outdoor basin door all crammed together. That door matters more than guests realize sunset hits. Everyone wants that same view. Same narrow exit. Normally I post Mike there, one of the old maintenance guys built like a tree trunk. Barely talks, not charming, not polished. Doesn't sell the luxury experience. But he can break a dangerous bottleneck before it turns into chaos. Selena clearly doesn't like him. Not because he's rude, he barely speaks, but because he looks like pure function, and to someone like her, function becomes a problem. The second it interrupts the curated story by Thursday, Mike's gone from hydro. No warning, no explanation, just reassigned to boiler checks behind the treatment wing. His replacement two, younger spa attendants. Nice girls, hard-working, completely wrong for managing a wet choke point. One of them could pour herbal tea like a pro. The other could calm anxious guests with breathing tricks and mineral soak talk, like she'd done it her whole life. Neither of them could break up a wet crowd, jam full of tired women in slippers, holding expensive phones. Zero awareness of anyone around them. I track Selena down near the lower stair. Landing, ask her, as evenly as I can, why Mike got pulled off hydro. She looks past me through the glass at the outdoor basin, like I'm not even the point, says. Women shouldn't have to breathe through the outline of male authority. That line pisses me off. More than if she'd just snapped at me, makes basic crowd control sound weirdly intimate and moral. At the same time, I tell her this isn't about outlines. It's wet stone, timing stacks, robe drag, and one choke point that always turns ugly. She says turning every human space into a system is exactly how men strip softness from women, to begin with. There it is, her whole belief system. Polished and ready pattern, recognition itself is the enemy. If you notice flow, you're suspect if you see risk early. You're controlling if you act fast. You're invasive by Friday. New protocols show up in staff binders. Title reads something like, Women-Centered Hydroflow Standards for Restorative Movement. Men are told to stay away from basin threshold, robe alcove, moon pool steps, inner bench lane. During guest hours, male involvement only allowed, after danger is already obvious, and female response hasn't worked. That one sentence tells me everything, because in operations, visible danger just means too late, too expensive, and already public. They also set up this women's reset nook right next to the emergency panel that controls the basin door and lower gate. I ask again, maybe the thing that stops a crowd crush shouldn't be hidden behind a curtain and some scented diffuser. Selena says women deserve at least one space not built around male urgency. Like that somehow overrides physics for about a week. Things feel more dumb than dangerous, mostly because experienced staff quietly ignore her rules whenever something feels off. Older women hate it the most. They built their authority on clean saves, not soft language and approval vibes. One of them, Marissa, tells me during break that wet stairs don't care who's centered if someone slips in heels. She's right, and people who are right in boring, practical ways never end up on leadership posters. Then we book the biggest weekend of the season. Women's Luxury Summit. Founders, influencers, editors, donors, panels everywhere. Sunset mineral sessions are the main event. Everyone wants that glowing basin shot with the skyline reflection. Selena decides this weekend is proof women can run the entire guest experience without men, shaping movement, tone, or intervention. No big speech, just quiet changes, schedules, shift. Staff gets rerouted, little nudges pushing men further out. Women from treatment get dropped into hydro roles. Mike stays buried behind walls checking boilers. Nobody even cares about that night. The clever part, no one openly humiliates the guys. It just slowly turns usefulness into trespassing, one hallway at a time. And yeah, if you've ever worked under someone smooth and completely out of their depth, you know this feeling, you spot the bad outcome early. You feel it building, but everyone above you calls that instinct negative energy. One wrong pattern, one overloaded lane, one bad sound. Suddenly you're the problem for noticing. First, that whole week feels like carrying a fire alarm inside my chest, while the building keeps congratulating itself for smelling like cedar and eucalyptus. By Saturday evening, lower hydro is packed enough to hum, and that hum always comes right before things snap. Women lining up at the indoor landing, two guests coming up from the basin, robes stacking near, returns phones everywhere. Lana and Priya, Selena's picks for hydro, are trying, they really are. But neither of them has Mike's instinct for how bodies compress on wet stone. You can see the center landing forming wrong, same way. You can hear a plate about to shatter before it hits. More guests, stop for rain, wall photos, more slippers. Get kicked off near the steps, basin door starts cycling uneven. I grab the radio, tell Lana to slow entry and clear the landing before sunset. Pushes another 10 bodies into the choke before she can answer. Selena cuts in, voice smooth, calm, like nothing's happening, says there's no need to tighten the space. Calls me Daniel. Again, same fake wrong name she always uses, like, who I am is optional. If she's annoyed, I tell her the landing's loading wrong. She says women know how to move without male alarm. That one sentence actually makes me second guess myself for a split second. And that's another trick people like her have. Make you hesitate, right? When you shouldn't. Then a guest near the rain wall turns too quick, loses balance, arms flailing, grabs another woman's sleeve to stay up. Second woman steps back onto the middle landing, right as two more come up from the basin. Stairs space collapses instantly. Bodies pressed together, that invisible line gets crossed, where it stops being awkward and starts being physics. I move toward the stairs. Selena steps right into my path, like she planned it ahead of time. Raises one hand, says, when men rush in, women learn their space can't function without them. And she actually smiles over her shoulder. I can already see it going bad. Lana turns sideways, Priya holding towels, frozen three guests all adjusting at once. I tell her this is a choke point. Now not a philosophy debate, she just says, I've already accounted for escalation. Then it happens. Older woman, at the top. Step loses her sandal, bare foot, hits, wet stone, knee folds. Inward, the woman behind her grabs Lana. Lana twists instead of bracing third woman coming up from below, catches the whole mess. Three bodies collapse into one tangled shape in less than a second. Then the sounds hit a scream, a phone smacking stone, a glass bottle shattering that noise. Panic plus broken glass on wet tile is one of the worst sounds you can hear indoors. I push past Selena, get to the landing, right as the older woman fully drops onto her side. Another guest's hand is cut open from the bottle. Priya is crying. Lana is apologizing to everyone instead of doing anything useful. I grab the radio, say one word, medics, not support, not guidance. Not anything soft, because words matter when seconds matter. Mike shows up from the back corridor without anyone calling him. Tells you everything about who actually understands the building. Within maybe 20 seconds, he's got the basin door controlled, lane split open towels covering glass traffic. Moving again, the whole floor starts breathing like it should. And somehow, Selena is still talking, telling people to stay calm, stay soft, while a woman is shaking on the ground. That's when the anger shuts off for me, gets replaced with something colder, like that feeling when trust just dies, completely. Older, woman ends up with a fractured wrist and heavy bruising. The guest with the cut hand needs treatment. Hydro shuts down for half an hour during summit weekend. That's basically blowing up your own advertisement. And Selena's first complaint afterward isn't about the fall. It's about Mike entering a women-held space. That sentence is so detached from reality, even Priya just stares at her like she forgot what world she works in. Emergency review gets called. That same night, Cedar boardroom upstairs smells like eucalyptus and legal problems. Owners, lawyer on speaker, medical lead, guest services, Selena, me, Lana, Priya, Mike, everyone around. One polished table. They pull the footage first, even with bad angles. It's clear enough my warning over radio. Her blocking me, the compression in the fall. Mike restoring order, you can't spin. That younger owner watches it 3 times, doesn't say a word, which is worse than yelling, means he's doing the math. Then he asks why Mike was removed from that position. If sunset crowding was already known, Selena starts her speech about women moving through restorative space without male direction, confidence, presence, emotional balance. Lana starts crying before she even finishes. Not dramatic, just embarrassed. Quiet, she admits she asked twice. That week, for stronger coverage at sunset, was told not to collapse the space. Once she says that room shifts. Now it's not just me sounding negative now. One of Selena's own people is saying she was left alone where timing mattered. Mike speaks once, just says, water doesn't care about our politics. That line hits harder than anything else said. All night lawyer asks for everything. Route changes, emails, camera adjustments, staffing logs, protocols. I send it all there. It is all her soft delays, all the rewrites, all the polite sabotage wrapped in calm language. Older owner asks why the emergency panel had a curtain over it. Selena repeats her line about urgency. He lets out this short, dead laugh, the kind rich guys make, when an expensive illusion breaks next afternoon. All staff email goes out, and for the first time in days, it actually sounds normal. Project canceled, immediately routing restrictions, Gone, cameras restored, hydro staffing, back to OPS control, and one line sits there, clear as anything, closest qualified, responder, acts first, exact wording. And, yeah, I almost want to shake my screen reading it. Celine is gone by that evening. No goodbye, no announcement, just gone, like opening a window, and the bad smell disappears. Yellow signs vanish before dinner. Hydro starts feeling like a workplace again, not some weird social experiment. Mike's back at the basin door. Lana stays. Priya stays. Both get noticeably better. The second the job stops being a test. 2 weeks later, older owner walks Hydro with me at sunset, just looking at the stairs, landing, basin door, panel. Finally says we confuse feeling guided with actually being safe. Closest thing to honesty anyone in power, said. After that, everything settles into that quiet, tense competence, real luxury, actually runs on not candles. Not views, just things working. Sometimes I still stand at the center, landing at dusk when the crowd starts building. Room starts making that low hum. Mike watches the door. Lana watches the stairs. I watch the middle. Nothing happens, which is exactly how it's supposed to be.